Until the 15th to 16th centuries, only a part of planet Earth was known to humanity. Vast territories, even continents, were discovered due to great geographical discoverers. Areas called terra incognito, unknown country, were discovered. For example, Magellan, an explorer, at the beginning of the 16th century, traveled from Spain to South America and discovered a strait at the far south, which later was named after him. His expedition reached an ocean, and they called that ocean Pacific Ocean. Armenia has never been a terra incognito. It was in the part of the world that was known to ancient Greeks and Romans as a known and inhabited country. The first written inscriptions about Armenia, as you already know, were done in cuneiform inscriptions engraved on graphs and maps made of clay or stone, like the star-shaped map of Babylon. We know certain details about Armenia from the oldest handwritten Greek and Armenian manuscripts. Herodotus, the Greek traveler and historian of 5th century BC, has described Armenia in his work, reporting information about its areas, natural conditions, administrative divisions, taxes, Armenian army, and trade relations with other countries. Famous geographers of ancient Greece, Strabo and Ptolemy, gave richer data about Armenia. Later, Moses Khorenatsi, a 5th century AD historian, gave even more informative data in his History of Armenia book, as well as Anania Shiragetsi, a 7th century AD mathematician, geographer, and astronomer, gave more information in his World Atlas. Shiragatsi followed the ideas of Ptolemy, who thought that the world was round while the universe was the center of Earth. While the idea of a round world was being developed in Armenia, Western Europe was living a decline of geographical ideas because of religious pressure. For centuries, Armenian schools used Shiragetsi's World Atlas as a geography textbook. The perception of the world has been different in people's imagination during different periods of time. A long time ago, people thought that the world was a flat continent and huge elephants or turtles carried it. Later, the perception about Earth was becoming more and more accurate, but the Church was punishing the ones expressing the idea of a round world. For example, Giordano Bruno was burned to death in 1600, while Galileo was forced to abandon his idea. In further centuries, Arab travelers and historians gave rich geographical data about Armenia. Not only did they preserve ideas concerning geography and cartography of the Greeks and the Armenians, but also enriched them. It is through their work that we know that Armenia and its neighboring countries together formed the Arab Caliphate state of Armenia, which consisted of 4 sections. The first had the eastern part of South Caucasus, including Caucasian Albania. The second section had eastern Georgia. The third section included former Persian Armenia, while the fourth included the Byzantine Armenia. These areas are defined as fertile areas where handicraft was developed and as a country full of trade materials. These maps dedicated to Armenia and its neighboring countries are of immense value. International social science organizations became more interested in Armenia's geography in the 18th and 19th centuries. Until then, Thomas Vanandetsi had already printed the first map in Armenian in Amsterdam, the Netherlands, in 1659. This was one of the first maps printed in Europe that had geographical grids. During these centuries, when Armenia continued to be under foreign domination, Armenian art, science, and printing houses progressed abroad in India, Russia, Southern and Western Europe. All the tourist journals of Venice in Italy have something about the small island St. Lazarus at the estuary of River Po. Armenians bought this island and established the court of Mkhitaryan starting from 1717. This was a religious and cultural organization that was destined to be the main center of Armenian literature and language development outside Armenia. Lord George Byron, an English poet who liked Armenian culture very much and learned Armenian, also lived on this island. St. Lazarus was also an advanced center of Armenian geography and cartography. Revont Alishan, a famous scientist, poet, and translator, is special in the sphere of geographical researches of Armenia. He had never been to Armenia, always lived in Venice, and gives such detailed descriptions about Armenia and its worlds and provinces that remains unsurpassed until today. Shirak, Ararat, Sisagan, and the rest of his works, including political geography, are phenomenal, written according to progressive European standards. A new period of Armenia's geographic research started in 19th and 20th century when Eastern Armenia joined Russia. It was then when Eastern Armenia had plans and maps composed according to European standards. The second part of the 19th century was outstanding because the Caucasian department of the Russian Geographic Society was founded in Tbilisi, the center of the vice-kingdom of the Caucasus. The Russian Geographic Society organized special geographic and ethnographic scientific expeditions, printing books and maps. Armenia could only investigate its geography independently starting in the 1920s. Armenia had become exhausted, damaged, and destroyed from wars and the genocide, and was in dire need of quick rehabilitation. It was necessary to organize the development of agriculture, mining, and electricity. Cartographers explored and made maps about the soil, water, vegetation, and climatic resources, natural factors of economic development, new roads, cities, and the geographical conditions to build factories based on geographical exploration done by the cartographers of the state administrative divisions for reforms in 1929-1930. This administrative division existed until 1995. Currently, the importance of geography is increasing in the world, especially in newly independent countries. Such countries have to solve their internal and external problems on their own. Geography is one of the sciences that helps strengthen the government, activate international connections and ties, develop the economy of the country, protect the natural environment, and use it properly. After this brief introduction of Armenian geography, or the history of Armenian geography, we will now turn to the main topic of our presentation.